Works and Brewing. My name is Randy. This is a channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Today what we are going to do is we're going to brew an English Pale Ale called Tavern House Ale. And I'll post that recipe for this beer at the very end of this video. Being said, there is actually 5 things that you could really do to help this channel out. Number 1, subscribe if you haven't done already. Number 2, hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. Number 3, give us a thumbs up if you like what you see. Number 4, share us with your friends, get the word out. And last, number 5, leave a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So let's get started. Pale Ale, the Tavern House Ale. Okay, I brewed this ale about, I don't know, dozens of times. It's always turned out very nice for me. It's really refreshing. It's a very easy to drink beer. And so one thing I really liked about this one is it's ready in 2 weeks. I mean, I'll brew it today, put it in the primary fermenter. It stays in there 2 weeks. It don't get transferred, anything like that. It'll be in the keg. So it's a pretty fast turnaround on that. So let's get started. All right, so I got about 1.5 gallons or so of 168-degree water, and a rule of thumb for that is it's about 1 quart per pound of grain, and that works out. You can readjust it, and then if your temperature drops a little bit too much, then you can just add a little bit more hot water and get her up. You know, the magic spot is about 148 to 155 degrees. Okay, so we're going to add this grain in. Just make sure you stir it up as you're putting it in, because you want no dough balls. Okay. We got all our grain mixed in. We'll do a temperature check, make sure that where you need to be. But as I said, this is a fantastic beer. Okay, so it looks like my temperature dropped down to about, I don't know, about 142, 143. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit more hot water in. Get that temperature up. Okay, so she's right about 150, 152 degrees. That'd be perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to let that mash in for about an hour, and then we'll come back and finish it up. So we got our mash tun all covered up. We're going to let it sit in there for about an hour. Just so you know what's going on is the mash is at about 154, somewhere in that neighborhood, and the enzymes that are in the grains are going to start converting the starches that are in the grains over into fermentable sugars. Of course, that's what we want. So we'll let this do its job for about an hour, like I said, and we'll be back. So what I did is I put about 9 gallons in my brew pot, and I started heating that water up. And then once it got up to about 168 degrees, I added about 1.5 gallons of that water into my mash tun. And then I let it continue to heat up to near boiling, and then added the leftover water into the hot liquor tank here to save for sparging. So that's about where we're at right now. So it's been an hour. Our grains in our mash tun. So what we're going to do now is I like to do a batch sparge. So what that means is I'm going to drain all this wort over into my brew pot, and then what I'll do is add hot water in here, fill it back up, give it a stir, and then drain it off until I collect up close to 6 gallons. So let's get started. So as you can see, we're sparging over into our brew pot. It's a nice color on that. So we'll continue this, and then we will sparge the grains off with some hot water until we collect about almost 6 gallons. We got our wort coming up to a boil right now. It's just starting to boil. Okay, according to the recipe, the boil additives is we're going to put in 1 pound of corn sugar. Let me turn that heat down just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to add 1 pound of corn sugar. So this is all the 60-minute additions. So, like I said, it's 1 pound of corn sugar, 1 ounce of Fugel hops, and 1 ounce of Kent Goldings at this time. Okay, so that will stay at boil for the hour. Let's start the hour. Okay, so I'll come back at our next addition, and that will be 1 ounce of Kent Goldings at 45 minutes into the boil. So in about 15 minutes I'll be... Okay, we're going to add in our last hop addition, which is styrene Goldings pellet hops, and that's going to be for the last 5 minutes of this. So we'll add them. It does smell good. And just as a quick note, if you remember, we started off with just a little bit over 6 gallons, and one of the reasons is we will lose about 1 gallon of liquid due to evaporation, pulling it off. So make sure you start with just a little bit extra. Okay, my boil's done. So my next step is I'm going to run my hot wort through a plate chiller into my fermentation bucket, get it down to temperature as fast as I can so that I can pitch yeast. And that's basically it. So let me go ahead and get started on that, and we'll be... Okay, we got her all chilled out. Let's check temperature first. We're looking at 80 degrees. I can live with that. Okay, so next what we want to do, as in all brewing stuff, one of the important things is to check our starting gravity. And we are at 1.040, and according to the recipe that I got, they were looking for original gravity of 1.043. Okay, well, I'll live with that. Alright, so the next step would be to, and one thing I forgot to tell you that about, making sure you use star sand on everything. Before the boil, not so important, but after the boil, make sure you have star sand and everything. So what we want to do now is introduce a little bit of oxygen all through the wort. And that should do it. So then the next step is I'm going to just sprinkle the yeast across the top. Lid for the bucket. Put the air lock in. Okay, and that's it. So in about 2 weeks, this be done fermenting. Put it right into the keg, carbonate it up, and she'll be ready to go. I want to thank you for watching. Enjoy the adventure, and we'll see you next time.